What's up, everyone? Welcome to Aftermath TV. The crew and I have our wins and fails ready for you guys. The week that was Money in the Bank, Raw, NXT, SmackDown, whatever it is. And Nug, you're starting us off.
It's such a weird thing to say that this is a win, but AJ Styles has PTSD. Last week I complained that AJ Styles had no ill effects from the Undertaker match and was saying it wasn't a big deal, and he's here and the Undertaker's not, so let's just move on like nothing happened. But during Money in the Bank and Monday Night Raw, we saw AJ Styles has been affected by this match in a pretty big way. Man, he can't even look at a coffin or a picture of the Undertaker without thinking of the Undertaker. So I'm loving that. I like the direction this can go. It's a very interesting characteristic now for AJ Styles, who honestly, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world. He kind of looks untouchable, but now he's got this little weakness, and it makes it interesting. Every Superman has a kryptonite. Looks like the Undertaker's his.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. See, and I got sucked in like everybody else. His first appearance back since his Boneyard match from WrestleMania, you know, qualifying for Money in the Bank, looking like he had no issues. What, Undertaker? Psh, big deal. Yeah, they went, and I got reeled in.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like you said, had Money in the Bank, and then it's just the seeds were planted there, and I like where the direction it's going because he's showing, like you said, a little bit of weakness. It's almost like Lex Luger going, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, you know, if you get
Lex Luger? Sorry, Lex Luthor.
Luthor, I think.
See, wrestling and comics combined.
If you get your knee busted up on Sunday at a pay-per-view, you should show some of the effects on Monday, you know, have it taped up. So absolutely, it should be the same thing for mental damage. And he went through a lot. So I like these little glimpses and sneak peeks and planting seeds and foreshadowing of some problems that are down the road. Now, who's going to be smart enough to recognize and exploit the problems? That's going to become interesting.
Anthony, while you're in the hot seat, give us your win.
My win, Drew McIntyre, one-on-one, mano-a-mano, no interference, no special match, just beat Seth Rollins. To, you know, I don't know if this is his first big pay-per-view title defense since he won it, but I think so, yeah. And anyway, and he beat like Seth is one of the top guys, period, in the company, in the industry, and in the last decade. And it's a big win to really, really cement not just your legacy, but the fact that people view you as, okay, he's our champion. And it was very good that there was nothing to taint it.
No, I tend to agree with that. I mean, Drew's from day one was the chosen one. Didn't pan out originally, but now he's starting to show us why originally someone saw that in him, saw that diamond in the rough, and labeled him the chosen one, the next one. And we're starting to see that now. The only takeaway on a negative side that I have from this match, well, two little things. I wish there was a crowd there live to react to this, because I think they would have bought into the stuff they were doing really well. But without the crowd being there, I started to hear too much of the referee, if that makes sense, because in my mind, being a referee, and of course I'm living in that bubble, the referee is supposed to be unnoticed until he needs to be noticed. And sometimes in that match, I thought he was a little too vocal in expressing some concerns, and I thought he was expressing some concerns that didn't need to be expressed by the referee. You're not Dr. Phil. You're not trying to psychoanalyze the guy and tell him, hey, you don't want to do this. You don't want to go to that deep, dark place. That's not your job. Your job is to say, put the chair down or I'll DQ you. That's it. Simple. Bye.
Hey, it's funny you mentioned the lack of a crowd noise. It's funny you mentioned the lack of the crowd noise, because that's a very good measurement as to how your champion is doing. You know, when that champion walks in the room, you hear that crowd go crazy, you know, and he's doing a good job and getting the reaction you want. But without that crowd there, I think Drew is an excellent champion. He's speaking well. He's holding himself well. He's taking command of the camera. But he also has to take command of all those people when they come back. Now, I love what he's doing, but it'll be interesting when crowds come back. If Drew McIntyre still has that title on them, will they react the way they should to a champion like Drew?
Yeah, it seems like it's going to be a long time before we allow capacity arenas. So, but I couldn't help but think to myself during this match, you know, instant classic, just insert audience, you know what I mean? And I think they would have been loving it and eating it up. After the match, there was a really cool moment between Seth and Drew, where Drew extended his hand. And I like the fact that he wasn't laid out. He just got the better of him, and sometimes that's how it happens. People should be able to lose and get up and walk away with their head down. But because there was no audience, you really heard the dialogue between them. And he said, stand up, show these people that you are worthy of being a locker room leader, and shake my hand like a man. And he did it. And it was just such a cool little extra piece to the match. And with regards to the audience, man, especially since they've never had a chance to let him know that they appreciate him since he's won the championship, I think it's just going to be building up and building up. And the first time the WWE Universe has an opportunity to show their love for Drew and their congratulatory response, I think they're going to just let loose, and it's going to be – the crowd is going to be jonesing so bad just to scream and cheer that the first show with an audience again is going to be instant classic show.
Again, a small little fear. Yes, they will be jacked. They will be excited because this is their first time to react to the people that they've been watching on television and wanted to get into the arena to do so. I just hope it doesn't become like that night after WrestleMania audience where they want to take over the show as opposed to show their appreciation for the show.
Yeah, the people are still in England.
They'll just be excited to see anything. They'll cheer for Brendan Vink.
Who? Oh, yeah.
Jimmy, your win.
Okay, speaking of actual wrestling matches, last night I was curious to see, or Monday night, I was curious to see how the Edge Randy Orton interaction would be. I mean, they had that match at WrestleMania, last man standing match. Randy Orton came out and on one hand proved why he's one of the best in the business from an all-around standpoint. We know he's fantastic in the ring from bell to bell, but he also showed us on the microphone why he's still one of the best in the world, if not top three at least anyways. And him challenging Edge to a straight up wrestling match, I think in today's world where everybody wants to raise the bar and elevate the game and add this stipulation and add that stipulation and we're going to add this to the match, we're going to go old school. We're going to have a classic old school wrestling match where we're going to actually tell a story, have some psychology, and take our time and just have a good, like everybody's been clamoring, we want a more authentic sports feel to our presentation. You're going to get it. And I'm sure these two guys are both going to deliver.
Yeah, Randy is getting better on the mic as he gets older. I remember riding with Randy and it was 12 years ago or so, and having a conversation saying, you're one of the best in the world, right? Probably the best. And he's like, no, come on, man, you think? I'm like, bro, you're incredible. And anyway, his physical skills are maintaining, right? They're not diminishing at all, but his mic skills are getting better. So the overall product is still getting better and better as it goes. And also, here's one, Carolyn, I know you like the analogies. they want to have just a match. But I tell you, if the cake is good enough, it don't need no icing.
Cake always needs icing.
Not even super cake.
No, I love icing.
No, there's a banana cake in the oven right now as we speak. Trust me, doesn't need it.
My mom just made carrot cake and she put icing all over it. And I'm that person who only eats the parts with the icing because it's so good. That's
Philadelphia cream cheese icing. Come on.
Ooh, it's so good.
That's where all the vitamins are in the icing. Here's the thing. I don't mind having just a wrestling match between two guys for a change, where there's crazy stipulations and cages and tops of roofs of buildings here and there. I don't mind that, having a wrestling match, but Edge isn't 100%. He's not going to go 100% the way he used to go. And Randy Orton at 100% is like anybody else's 65. It's not like Randy's speedy in anything he does. He's very methodical and very slow. So here's a couple guys who aren't the speediest in the world going to have just a wrestling match with no bells and whistles. I'm a little worried. Is this something that the fans who are used to, let's go, are they going to stick around? Are they going to tune in for this? It's going to be a really different match for the audience today.
No, I totally get that concern, but I'm not concerned because I'm of the belief that these guys do not need to be the Flash. They don't need to be speedballs. They could tell a great story. They could take their time and make everything they do mean something. I know a lot of today's audience wants go, go, go. Let's see it. Let's get it done. I think this is going to be a lesson in you don't have to do that.
Yeah, but they still do it. It's just that with there are moments of explosiveness and there are moments of, let's, God forbid I say high spots. It's just accentuated that much more because in between they're slow. So the contrast makes them look more explosive. And Undertaker was talking about that recently too, how he's slow and methodical. Then all of a sudden he pulls some incredible athletic maneuver with dexterity and it's like so impressive because less is more, baby.
As long as we don't see a lot of thigh slaps, I'm good.
Oh, God.
All right, my win, I don't know how we haven't talked about her yet, is Asuka. Nug, I know you were as happy as I was. I think we both wanted, if I remember correctly, I don't want to speak for you, but we both wanted to see Shayna Baszler win. But Asuka winning Money in the Bank was, for me, such a happy moment. I looked at the TV. I'm like, finally, she's back. She's so incredible. But for me specifically, it's when on Monday Night Raw when she, I don't know the right word, obtained the title from Becky Lynch. She's now the second WWE female superstar to be Grand Slam champion. She made history, wow. So, she has the at some point in her career won the NXT title, SmackDown, Raw, tag team title. What an incredible moment in her career. And a very feel-good moment to share with Becky Lynch as well. So that was, I would have to say that was my win, but specifically just happy for Asuka because I think she deserves it.
No, I 100% agree. And like you said, congratulations to Becky. And I'd like to congratulate Seth too, but on Monday night, he looked a little less than enthused, but that's a different story altogether. As far as Asuka goes, I enjoyed the way that the title, the Raw Women's Championship, transitioned over to Asuka. Yes, the women were fighting for an opportunity to cash in against the champion at a future time, not knowing that they were actually battling for the title itself. I like the surprise of it. And I know people are saying, well, they could have had a tournament and then we could have teased the cash in with Asuka and there's a whole bunch of different ways you can go. Yes, I get that, but that doesn't mean you can't have down the road another women's Money in the Bank ladder match for an opportunity at a championship later. I just like, it was different. It was unique and I thought it was fine.
Yeah, the acquisition of Asuka was not like, let's get her and see if she can develop. And she was the best in the world when she came over. She was a huge trade. It was a blue chip stock coming over. She was highly regarded as the best in the world long before she came to WWE. And some of her matches are incredible. Actually, one of the former coaches, Serena Deeb, who actually just got released, she has a match with her name was Kana at the time in Japan, and at the time it was the best women's match in the world that I've ever seen. Since then there's other Charlotte's there and Becky and a lot of others that are really good, but at the time Serena and Asuka was like a clinic. It was amazing.
I love the way Asuka got this title for two reasons. One, it's about time. Asuka, it's so funny that Asuka has all these accolades and everything, and we still don't think she's quite reached her peak in WWE. Like there's always been something missing, and to think she's done it all with something missing is bananas. Sorry, banana, Jimmy. But the one thing I like about this is I like that Shayna Baszler didn't win this title only because of the ammunition to give Shayna. She gave an interview last night where she, I think, took on babies in a promo, which was amazing. And then there's a thing on WWE.com, a backstage interview where she basically says Asuka didn't win that title. She got it given to her, and she didn't win the Money in the Bank. She won a food fight. That wasn't a match. So here's Shayna gearing up for a match against Asuka, and that's a match I'd watch 100 times.
Oh, yeah.
Wait for this.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. If there was one thing I thought that was, a hole in Shayna Baszler's game, is her promo skills. I guess you'd call it, her talking. I thought on Monday night she nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when she came over, I imagine in the beginning she was just going to be expected to be an in-ring phenom, and then she's developing this personality. What a bonus that she's so funny and she's so charismatic on TV when, you know, even if she wasn't, she'd still be the best.
Yeah.
With wins, as we know, come fails. I'm going to start them off, guys. Comes from Money in the Bank. Nug, you messaged me about this one, and your take is just so great. So I'm going to let you speak after me. But for me, Tamina versus Bayley, like I wasn't into it. I wasn't not into it. I was just neutral, and I can't get behind. And we've talked about this before on Aftermath. I think Bayley is such a genuinely nice person to her core. That's how I feel when I've interviewed her in the past, that I just don't see her taking on this bad guy role and selling it, you know, and making it believable. I think she needs a change, at least in my opinion, and I just can't get behind the match. And for me, when I see Tamina, I'm like, she would tear through someone like Bayley, you know? So yeah. I couldn't get behind it. That's
yeah,
all.
it was tough for me to watch because we were talking last week. I don't care about Bayley, and I don't care if her and Sasha are friends or enemies or when will they break up or are they ever good. I don't care. And then you have a match against Tamina, who shows up less often than The Undertaker, so I'm not invested in her either. And so I just couldn't get behind either person in that match, and I would have been totally fine with Lightning Strike or Earthquake being the victor in that match because I just don't care about anybody in it. It's already hard enough to get fans behind a match with two sides that you are ambivalent about, but to have no crowd there for a match between two people you don't care about, the silence was even louder than before.
Oh, that's perfectly said. I agree.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to suspend your disbelief with regards to the fact that someone like Bayley could even survive 3 minutes with, Tamina.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, because she's such an imposing physical force. She would murder her easily. She's strong. And because, you know, Bayley's the bad guy, I'm supposed to have sympathy for Tamina. Tamina's, I didn't feel, she was never the underdog. I couldn't look at her as an underdog. She's just too strong.
She's not even an underdog 2-on-1.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, you know, I don't know, maybe bad booking.
I just didn't like it for the reasons you all stated, but also you're supposed to get invested in the people and invested in the characters. And for me, as good as Bayley is, there's something missing with Bayley. And for me, she's so believable as a good guy, good person, you know, like as we say, baby face. Her as a villain, it just doesn't click for me. It doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel like it's coming from her inside place. And with the returning Tamina, yes, you're excited for returning superstars, but when she returned, it was underwhelming. So, like Nug said, I want to be invested in this person who's returning to challenge for the title. I didn't get invested in Tamina, and I'm not invested in Bayley as a villain.
Yeah, all they had to do for Tamina was just, I don't know, video chat, something from her house, show her children, show that she's a mother, show what she has to go through when she packs her bags and leaves the house, and the kids, bye, mommy, and just give me something to know about her besides just a scowl and a mean-looking face. Like, who is she? Who's the person? That really helps when to get behind somebody when you actually know something about somebody.
And also, it's a classic move. You either hate somebody so much, you by default cheer for the other person, or you love somebody so much that default you boot for the other person. But if you don't care about either one, silence is your result.
You know what? When we talked about earlier that the Drew match with Seth suffered from a lack of an audience, good thing there wasn't an audience there for this one.
Yeah.
Would have been the same sound.
Hey.
Oh my God. Jimmy, what's your fail?
Okay, here we go. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this one, but I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, why did you trade Jay Buhner? No. For me, I don't have an issue with Otis winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. That is not a problem. I'm perfectly fine with that. We're going to talk about on Friday, we're going to talk about the Money in the Bank match itself. I enjoyed it. I found it fun. But at the same time, in the manner which Otis won the briefcase, the whole thing about a ladder match, it's risk and reward. There was no risk when you don't climb the ladder to get the reward. Other guys went up there and paid the price and fumbled the briefcase, and basically he happened to be in the right place in the right time to win the briefcase. Like I said, it's not that Otis is the Money in the Bank briefcase holder right now. It's how he obtained the briefcase. I didn't like that.
Hey, so in my mind, I like to pretend that Otis is such an old school worker that he came up with that finish so he didn't have to take a bump.
I will say that apparently Otis is afraid of heights, so I'm not surprised he didn't go up the ladder on the roof of a building.
Oh, my God.
But, Jimmy, the precedent's been set. Carmella won the Money in the Bank match because James Ellsworth unhooked the case and threw it to her.
Yeah.
There are two things that there are in WWE. There's no rules, and nothing matters. So it doesn't matter that Otis got the spoils of somebody else's mistake. It doesn't matter that AJ Styles' gloves aren't sticky enough to hold on to a briefcase. And it doesn't matter because why was Baron Corbin going after Asuka's case? Why wouldn't he just go up a different ladder instead of going up against Asuka? I understand if you see Baron Corbin in front of it, if you're Asuka, you're taking a shot no matter what. But the way that match was set up, everything happening at the same time, there was bound to be someone make a mistake, and that Otis caught the briefcase after AJ and Baron Corbin made a mistake. Good for him.
But you know what became an afterthought in this whole thing? Elias was the one who caused the fumble, and nobody is even talking about that. And that's lost in the whole conversation. And that was a major component into the finish of this match that nobody cares about.
Yeah, it's interesting. If you want to be a bumbling fool babyface, I don't know where I've seen one of those before, but anyway, you got to be creative with how to. It's not easy because, for example, let's say Otis becomes super capable, climbs up the ladder and grabs it. That was kind of cool. Like, that was kind of athletic and it was kind of straightforward, and he won it. And it's like he's supposed to have accidents. It's comedy. It's supposed to be, what's it called? Gangbusters? No, not gangbusters. Slapstick. What's that called?
Keystone Cops.
Yeah, Keystone Cops kind of thing. Yeah, and
Benny Hill.
Yeah, and even if he goes on to have championship success, it's hopefully they can always kind of find a way to do it so that it's still a surprise, a shock, and he's the underdog right to the last second.
Well, he is talking about cashing it in for a tag team title shot with Tucky, and that's never really been done with the Money in the Bank before.
Yeah.
The comedy out of that, for me, is every other superstar coming up to Otis and taking him aside and saying, "Hey, man, what are you doing? That's a heavyweight title opportunity. Don't blow it on the tag titles."
He's such a nice, innocent guy. I think it's perfectly suited for him to do that.
There's so many possibilities and so many avenues this can take, and that I'm pleased about it. Like I said, just the way it was obtained, and just so you guys can verify this better than I can, that in professional wrestling, probably the hardest thing to do well is comedy, because people think, oh no, having a match, you can have a match with limited ability and get away with it, but comedy is so much harder. I mean, AC, you can attest to that, and Nug, you're a comedian, you do comedy all the time. It's not easy.
No, it's not. And I want to know who or how does Otis wash his back? His arms can't reach his back.
He's got a team, or he's got a reaching stick.
Yeah, the gimmick. He's got the gimmick.
Oh, Mandy. Ooh.
AC, what's your fail?
My fail was how many floors are there in the towers, Jimmy? You know?
I want to say is there 7 or 8?
There's 7 at the
seven and then
I read
the roof.
that.
My problem was floors 1 through 7. On the roof is fine, but so in wrestling, you count 1, and then you count 1, 2, and then 1, 2.5, and 2 3/4, and you get closer to the 3. That's where you win. When someone gets knocked down for like a standing 10 count, they get up at 5. Then they get up at 6. Oh my God, he's getting up at 8. And you get closer to the 10 count. That's where the drama is. So I think they should have applied that, and they should have did something like you have to qualify and earn the right to move up each floor somehow. And I don't know why someone just didn't do like, hey, what's that? And just take an elevator and just go to the top. And it seemed like it was random fighting throughout the building, which is, it's cool to see the building, but they could have added value to it.
I hear what you're saying, and I think Booker T said it in the pre-show best. His analogy was like Game of Death with Bruce Lee, where he had to climb through that building, different levels, and fight a different opponent until he finally got to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know how they should do it, but that'd be tough to actually do.
No, but maybe you could have added a little element like you have to climb the stairs through the building and go through every floor to
riddles,
stuff like that, and have a key card if you want to get in the elevator and nobody has a key card, so you mug the janitor or something.
Like an escape room.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to see what every floor was. Like, as the audience, I've never been in the tower before, so I didn't know what's on the first floor, what's on the second floor. It would have been nice to see like a little overview of each level. For me, the best fight was in the gym, especially because Baron Corbin broke a mirror and now has 7 years bad luck.
But I love the way they kept going back to him when he broke it. Like, he was like, "Oh, Vince is going to be pissed." Like, he just kept staring at it. That was hilarious.
I love the little cameos we got throughout. We got the Brother Love and Johnny Ace. We got to see a little Doink. I don't know who that was, but anyway,
someone who was Doink that wasn't Doink.
Yeah, my favorite was Vince McMahon is working on a Sunday, but you could tell it was a Sunday because Vince was wearing jeans.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. Anyway,
that's hilarious.
And he was writing with a quill.
Oh no, but on the yellow notepad.
On the yellow notepad.
Which is, anyways, that's his gimmick.
Nug.
Oh
last
boy.
but not least, your fail.
My fail is from Monday Night Raw and involves a basketball game between the Street Profits and the Vikings. When sports fans see wrestling on their television, they yell, "This isn't sports." When wrestling fans see sports on their wrestling show, they yell, "This isn't wrestling." And for comedy fans, as we've been talking before, that wasn't comedy either. It was terrible. And all the two teams do, apparently, is yell at each other. I understand we can't see them fight every week, but I'd like to see none of that again. And I'd like to see them do it quietly, and I'd like to see them do it on another show.
What I didn't get was the big reveal at the end. You know what? We threw the game. We can actually play. Where did this come from? Why?
Just beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. I had no interest in it at all.
Aftermath TV fans, we want to know what your wins, what your fails are from the past week. It could be anything. We want to hear from you on Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. We're live on Sportsnet, Facebook, YouTube. Bring your comments, bring your questions.
Bring your questions.
Yeah, we want to talk with you. It's always fun, and we're ready. So we're ready to talk about everything that happened. So we'll see you guys then.
Yeah, we're an open book. Speaking of book, I was just never mind. Again, Foley has plug. What can I say?
That's amazing. We'll see you guys on Friday. Thanks for watching.